that whole thing they pulled off with exemption of pharmaceutical companies being responsible for injuries from vaccines.
From the vax was crazy.
It's crazy because you just empower these people that have lied forever. Yeah, it does still exist.
And it still exists, and that is totally insane. And I mean, I took the vax, and I haven't been boosted or anything, but the moment where I really started to get red pilled on the whole vax thing was the sickest that I've been in the last 15 years by far was when I took the vaccine. And I've had COVID at this point 5 times. I was in bed for 2 days. My heart was racing. I was like, the fact that we're not even allowed to talk about that, even, no like serious injury, but even the fact that we're not even allowed to talk about the fact that I was as sick as I've ever been for 2 days, and the worst COVID experience I had was like a sinus infection. I'm not really willing to trade that. And you don't even, everybody that I know, or a lot of people I know, they talk about the second shot that they got of the vaccine that made them really, really sick. Well, that's a side effect, and not a side effect that we even talk about enough in this country.
No, it's also, again, we're talking about companies that have a long history of lying and being forced to pay criminal fines, and then we're giving them this exemption from being responsible for any of the side effects.
Yeah, and who do you think those big pharma companies donate to politically in 2024? I'll give you a big fat guess.
Probably Kamala Harris.
By a significant margin.
Well, it's a weird one where you're not even allowed to question it. You're not allowed to discuss it.
Oh, sure.
And that becomes very religious, just like all these other things that we talked about, where you have this thing that everybody speaks about in hushed tones. People know people that have been vaccine injured, and particularly people on the left, they're very reluctant to discuss it, even publicly.
Yeah.
I know people who are public people who have had serious vaccine side effects who do not want anyone to talk about it.
Absolutely.
They're scared of being labeled an anti-vaxxer.
I have a Senate colleague who doesn't want to talk about it, but worries that it's like permanently affected his sort of sense of balance and dizziness and vertigo. And it happens. I've talked to a number of people who think that they got vaccine injured. Some of them are public about it, and some of them are not.